Avetino Miranda, hi.
Hi.
We have been journalist colleagues from the 1980s.
Yeah.
But today I'm talking to you in a different capacity and as a founder of the Goa Green Brigades. Tell us about the group, please.
See, it was co-founded
Yeah.
by me and Eric Pinto.
Eric is the engineer,
Yeah.
our friend
Yeah.
from Porvorim.
Yeah. So every time I used to come to Goa from where I used to work earlier in Pune as a journalist,
Yeah.
and I used to see so much of destruction taking
Yeah.
place
Yeah.
in Goa. You know, cutting of trees or hills, or destruction of sand dunes, and
When you come back after some time, it's more noticeable than the slow changes.
yeah, there are a lot of changes.
Yeah.
It really used to hurt me. And thing is, working in Pune as a journalist and not able to do anything in Goa was more.
You were with the Business Standard and Indian Express for 20 years in Pune.
Yeah. So, as a journalist, our job is only to write,
Right.
but we do nothing beyond that writing. So, as a journalist, I got a lot of environmental issues against big companies for
Yeah.
causing pollution, destruction of environment, then destruction of livelihoods. You know, when there is a big factory coming up, say in a remote village, you'll find agricultural lands being destroyed. You'll find the life of nomads, shepherds being destroyed, livelihoods are being destroyed. But journalists normally don't write on those subjects because they write on what is given, handed out to them, what they call as a press note and the press briefing.
Also, it has to fit that 24-hour time frame, no?
You know, it's nothing with the time frame.
Okay.
It's a question. They'll spend a lot of time in having dinner and drink, and you know, there's a lot of time. Time is not an issue.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you just jump out of the press conference room and go out. I just give you a simple example, like Rashtra Chemical Fertilizers. We were taken to Alibag to show the fantastic factory.
Yeah.
But when you see the chimney emitting a lot of smoke and a lot of air pollution, you can feel it. I decided to get out in the middle of the night and go to the villages
I see.
and ask them if they face any problem because of this factory. And to my surprise, they said, we have been growing paddy here, and in the paddy, nothing grows inside. There is no seed. There's no rice inside the paddy. In the
Empty.
paddy, it's empty. The fruits are not growing. They have mango trees and other trees. So they are really suffering, and these are the issues we need to highlight. But nobody cares. Who cares?
So, Goa Green Brigade's agenda is
To save Goa's environment from destruction.
particularly the trees. You all started off with focusing on trees.
No, we started with trees, but it's not only trees. It's about sand dunes.
Okay.
It's about hills. It's about our rivers, our seas, our, all the natural resources, the water resources, everything. Because today Goa is facing a massive attack on its environment.
Yeah.
All these natural resources for which people come, millions of people come to Goa.
The surplus money, if anywhere, is coming from the environment largely. It's not coming from technology. It's coming from real estate rackets. It's coming from deforestation. This is where the surplus money
I believe it's not just a surplus money. I feel that Goa is become an ideal place for money laundering. So people who have black money in Delhi, Bombay, wherever they come from, you know, the rich businessmen. Because India has a large parallel economy,
Yeah.
the black economy, where they don't pay taxes, nothing, you know. And in Goa, the land deals are highly undervalued when they actually
On paper,
register.
on paper, they are
highly
undervalued.
undervalued. And there's a lot of generous black money. You see the kind of cars today
Yeah.
in Goa. People have a lot of BMWs, Mercedes, and the most expensive cars you'll find in Goa.
So, what was the response like to GGB?
We had a good response because whenever we give a call for people to participate in the movement, we get a response. But of course, we would love to have bigger response because bigger the response,
Better the results.
the results are better. The government gets shaken up, and then they take note of because they're concerned of the votes.
I've been active with you all for a long time, and I've been following you all, not active. Mostly on WhatsApp. It's a WhatsApp group. How do people join you?
Yeah, through WhatsApp group. One of the ways, and you can volunteer, on various projects. We take up tree saving projects like we took up in Giri.
The coconut trees at Giri on the highway,
Yeah,
Panjim Mapsa highway.
Unfortunately, the road builder has not kept his word on watering the trees
I
because
see.
they're dying. Because coconut is a lot of water. Because it's a project to reroute the coconut trees.
Yeah.
But what we saw is when we gave a call, there was a huge response we got. About 25 people came to volunteer and work when we needed only 10 people.
Number of SOS messages going out about particularly tree habitats being destroyed and all,
Yeah.
no, on the group. So how do you tackle that?
What we do is we are regularly in touch with the forest department, and we immediately call the forest department. Like in the case of Asagaon, last month there was a massive one company called Vynar was
Called?
Vynar.
Why not?
Yeah, Vynar. So they are builders from Delhi, Haryana, wherever they come from. They are working on some 18 projects in Asagaon village alone.
I see.
Yeah. So, and the first thing they do is destroy the tree cover around it. There's a problem. And they said when we went there, they were very,
KG.
I mean, they were very influential, powerful. They called the police to see that people, and there were over 200 people gathered. You know, that was a massive, for a small village like Asagaon, a lot of people gathered there to protest.
Yeah.
But people didn't know how to go forward. So they called me, and I went there, and we called the forest officials to conduct inspection. And the forest department was quite quick enough to come. The range forest officer himself came, surveyed the area, and they've caused massive destruction. And we tried to save a banyan tree which was there, huge
I
banyan,
see.
over 200-year-old banyan tree, which they had almost cut half, but we saved it.
What are the strategies you suggest for these kind of issues?
One thing I told, which is we need to engage with the builders and say the development has to be around the trees, around the environment, not by destroying the environment. They don't understand that. You know, they don't have the vision to save the environment. See, people come and buy a property looking at the beauty, natural beauty.
Yeah.
It destroys the very natural beauty and want to live in a matchbox. That's not life.
You're cutting the branch on which you're sitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Complaining works. Officials take action sometimes.
They take action. It works because we are become a very. We have become quite a strong pressure group.
Yeah.
So they know the consequences if we don't act. And we never spare any official who doesn't work.
Any tips for people who have a problem in their backyard? How do they contact you? How?
They can contact my number,
Which is
98230 73265, and we advise people how to go about with the complaints. We help them draft the complaints, and we don't charge anything. There's no money involved, so there's no fear of being charged. Or, we give the proper advice how to file a complaint, how to get an inspection done. Say, for example, there's somebody who already started cutting the trees, and there are say 20 trees, 30 trees, or 10 trees, or 5 trees. You need to save the trees, remaining trees, quickly. So contact me. Contact our Government Brigade number I've announced.
Yeah.
And we will give you fast response as fast as possible to send a team of forest officials to stop the destruction.
And the last point, I know you brought some seeds for me because I was begging you for those.
Yeah, we have some seeds, unfortunately,
I see.
Plastic because it's on the way.
Yeah.
So these are the seeds, local seeds which we try to propagate and sell or
sell them at very reasonable prices, 30 rupees a packet.
Yeah, it's not about making money, but it's about enabling people in villages to grow their own vegetables. The problem we faced in lockdown, we realized the value of food. If you don't have food security, go on, you don't have future. It's very, very risky. When you realize food security, the meaning of the value of food security when you don't have food in your stomach.
Like it happened during March and April of the lockdown.
People had no food. Everybody was scavenging for food.
Right.
Looking for which shop is open around. But now we have the lands. You have the ancestral lands. You didn't buy it. You inherited it. Please don't destroy it. Our request is not to destroy the land you have inherited. Keep it for the future generations. Grow your own food and live a happy life.
Thank you. Thank you for your message, Avitina. Thanks.